Okay, good evening. Happy New Year. I'd like to welcome everyone to the City Council meeting of Tuesday, January 6th. Call the meeting to order and ask for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Lisa?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so first on the agenda, we will have public comment. When making public comment, you did 3 minutes or less. And remember to be kind and respectful, state your name and your mailing address. Yeah, you like to go over.
Well, I signed up on this piece of paper. The answer is no, 457 in Oregon 9711. I'm here tonight representing the board of directors again, we needed food choice. Last year, 2025, we served 10,622 people, which was an increase of 16%. We averaged probably about 115 not unduplicated families each month. We provide food and essentials to more than 60 families each week. In 2025, local businesses and community members donated 54,639 pounds of food and essentials to our kids, which was down 9% from the previous year. Through food acquisitions, we distributed over 100,000 pounds of food and essentials to people in our community. People who live or work in our community. There are no paid staff. Every penny we get goes into feeding everyday people. All workers, our volunteers last year donated more than 4,325 of their purchase hours to support food. To support the mission of Food Pantry, which is to provide food and essentials to the needy in our community and loving and compassionate hands. We had a total of 65 volunteers, with 16 of those being perhaps only one time yes of our regular volunteers. They don't stay in my house this Wednesday or some time. We're continuing to be open at the school in our current location, no matter what's been going on in town. That happened. And we're going to continue to be open every Wednesday. Just free. Why 15? We've already had a very positive discussion with the city officials to figure out what's going to happen now. We're looking, everybody is looking for a permanent location for our pantry. We're optimistic about our ability to find it in this community. We want to be able to safe and welcoming manner. Thank you for your support of our country. All of our community food pantry. So really, we're everybody working together. It's out. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Molly.
Thank you. Thank you. Molly Champion, Field Office. Thank you. I hear about the same thing that the last speaker spoke to, and that was the confusion of what happened last week and the following rumors that seem to penetrate throughout the community. I just say, first of all of us who know about the food pantry would say, even with some of the divisions that we have in the community, the food pantry is our central star nonprofit that everyone does support. I know things have been confusing, and also there's a lot of other projects going on, but it seems that the feeding of our neighbors and assisting in food insufficiency is so primary, and it's been kicked around for so long, especially since the school property was being purchased. We've heard that the school, that the pantry would always have a place at the school property. That now seems uncertain. We've also all heard rumors that one of the trailers, which I don't know if the city purchased those, of course, leasing them for the office and the police station while the buildings are going on, it was going to be promised to the food pantry at some point. So these are just, and whether now that perhaps one of the school, places would be and would remain there. So there's a lot of suppositions and, inequalities of knowing what's going to happen to something that's so substantial and happens every single week. I was hoping that even though this is not on the agenda, and I don't know what the agenda is for the 13th, but there should be some type of answer to the community and the people, particularly of these served through that pantry, of whether we are going to be getting one of the trailers at some point. And I don't know who would do the cost refrigeration of doing that to be specifically to be used by the pantry. Whether they will somehow maintain one of the classrooms if they go forward and turn this into a park at the school. In other words, there's a great deal of uncertainties, and yet we know that this has been an established occupation of what our community does for those who need it. And it seems like at this point, with all the rumors and the statement from the fire department, it's time, whether you do an executive session or something, to have a concrete plan that is interim for one part of it, that is going to be the actual home and the commitment of this community to have a set of standards that we know are going to go forward in some type of future time. So that's what I'm asking from this council, is that within the next few weeks, because it's been a long time that you've had this in your daily to consider, that the community finds out what is your plan for food pantry. So thank you for your time, and thank you for working on this, because I think we all need an answer.
Thank you. Anybody else? Amy?
It's 1190. You'll have from 1190. Hi, I'm president of the pantry, here in this town. All the stats that Nancy read, we've got another bookload of them. That was just the synopsis of a few of them. Every person who comes to the window at our pantry receives 3 meals. And we had over, make sure that it is correct, but somewhere over 40,000 meals that we handed out last year. 40,000 meals to the people who live and work in this community, helped by business owners, community. Everything we do, we don't get any money from the government, we don't get any money from the city, we don't get any money from anybody, but checks from community members and local organizations that supply the shaking, that's just the way it is. But I would like to make it clear that as a board and as the president, we don't have any rumors. We know what's happening. We know what we were told. We know what we were then told again. Our building had a tree fall on it. We were in it. Thank God it fell right where the two boards come together, or, I might not be standing here talking to you. We all know the building's not in great shape. But going forward, we're gonna do the best that we can. We've met with city officials, we've met with Bruce. And we have a little bit of a plan going forward. And so if you have a question in the community or as a counselor, please feel free to call a board member. Because we'll have an answer for you, and the answer might be, our answer right now is, we are not closing. We were looking for, possibilities to the future. We're working for solutions. So please direct your questions or your thoughts or your rumors to the board of this organization, because we have at least the correct answers, the answers that we've been given, or we're waiting. We're doing our best. But we will not close. We will not close. If we have to keep people out of the back of our vehicles in that parking lot, that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna miss a Wednesday. Fear for our client. Rumors lead to fear for our clients who are already in fear. They're already in fear that they can't feed their children. They're already in fear that they can't feed themselves. So anything we can do to lessen that, I would very, very much appreciate. Again, contact me, contact any of our board members. We have a website. Tomorrow, all of our members will be on there. But we're willing and able and will do anything to answer your questions. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support in the past. And I appreciate your support going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, is there anyone on Zoom that would like to make comment? Nobody? Okay, one last chance. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, so with the next section, sticking with our Happy New Year's theme, are two resolutions. And the first one is resolution 2601. And Tim?
Okay, thank you, Mayor Knopf, and councilors. The resolution before you is a budget amendment. This budget amendment is to refurbish the currently a tennis court and will result in 3 new pickleball courts on Second Street Court and resurfacing of the tennis court striping on North Spruce. We have received bids, and right now what that would be is the bids were 57,808. We're asking for a budget amendment totaling $62,500 with an 8% contingency. Chris from Public Works, the Public Works Director, is here to answer any questions about the actual project, if you have any. And with that, I'll open it for questions.
I move to approve. resolution. You got questions?
Yeah, it's good.
Fine. Yeah, I move to approve resolution 2601 for the purpose of approving increases and decreases to the fiscal year 25-26 budget by making an interfund transfer of appropriations for the completion of repairs to the Second Street courts.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question about the project itself. So the analysis information that's provided here just says removing 22 by 60 feet of hard surface. That's from this court.
Correct.
Right here to
Yeah, from the
just past us here, just on the east.
Yep.
Is it removing and replacing? Or
No, it's
removing and replacing it? What exactly is?
It's removal of the 22 by 60 here, because it's being currently impacted by the roots of the tree, or lifting up the core right there. So that'll be removed, and then that will turn into landscaping, so
So
that
how wide section is no longer gonna be?
22 feet wide, like, so this way, that way, or then 60 feet.
Okay, so this will be transitioning from a tennis court that's.
To
purpose
3 pickleball courts, permanent pickleball courts that face north south.
Okay.
And then it's the resurfacing of this, tennis and pickleball court over
Yeah.
there, and restriping it the way that it currently is trained.
Okay, and the user group that uses the things, I'm assuming Mike Morgan and whoever else is normally commenting on those courts. Are they aware that that's the plan?
We have discussed it with, we've talked with Randy Neal.
Oh, you talked with the user.
We've got, and
He's in the-
he's in favor, yeah.
Okay, fair.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, roll call please, Jen.
Counselor Oostreicher,
Yes.
Counselor Hampton,
Yes.
Counselor Hayes.
Yes.
Council President Kerr,
yes,
Mayor Knopf.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next resolution is 2602. Yeah,
Okay.
Jim, you're gonna have.
All right, I'm on again. Okay, so at the December 16th meeting, council discussed the policy to appoint an acting city manager in the event of the city manager's prolonged absence. Per council's direction, attached is resolution 2602, appointing the finance director. This is acting city manager in the event of a prolonged absence, such as during a vacation. And it's open, and with that, I will open it for any questions.
I move to approve resolution 2602 for the purpose of adopting a policy appointing the finance manager as acting city manager in the event of the city manager's prolonged absence.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please, Jen?
Counselor Hamilton.
Yes.
Counselor Hayes.
Yes.
Council President Kerr.
yes,
Counselor Ostrander.
Yes.
Mayor Knopf.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go on to the action items, and first on the agenda is appointments of city committees, boards and commissions. And first, we have the Public Works Committee. There's one vacant, there's one applicant, 2 more vacancies, so keep that in mind. And, this person is here in person, Alicia, you wanna come up? If you could, you can have a chair so you get used to sitting on these. Good evening.
Good evening, my name is Alicia Blaylock, I'm in for address.
Okay.
I, thank you for receiving my application and for receiving me tonight. I am now a full-time permanent resident in Cannon Beach. The last time I served on boards and commissions, I wasn't. Previously, I served on the budget committee and then on the design review board. I think I did 1 term on each. And I enjoyed the experience very much. I feel like I've had a lot of experience in local government and specifically in public works for about 20 years. And so it's just a way that I can give back to the community. So I know you've got several vacancies and I wanted to step in and help if I could and volunteer.
Anybody have any questions?
I'll move to appoint Alicia Blaylock to the Public Works Committee beginning immediately.
Second.
Roll call please.
Counselor Hayes.
Yes.
Council President Kerr.
yes,
Counselor Ostrander.
Yes.
Counselor Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Knopf.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Alicia, and try to find 2 more people.
Is that, does Alicia's, stepping onto that make it, committee again?
Yes, we now will have a quorum,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, we have an absence, for the month of January, so our next meeting will be in February.
Okay.
So,
Everybody keep looking. Okay, next we have the farmer's market, and there's 1 vacancy, and the applicant is Bob Lundy, and he is here also. Come on up.
I assumed that, I wasn't expecting to be coming up here and have anybody any questions for me, so I didn't prepare anything. I can say a couple of sentences. if
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, I was on the group that formed the farmer's market in the first place. I was involved in writing the handbook and I was mostly in charge of, updating it each time over the years. And republishing it, other than, while around before and after Sandy died, I have pretty much always been a volunteer. Year in, year out, we got the market. I have been on the committee from before it was a city function. With the exception of having to sit out after being on it sit out for a year after being on it for 8 years straight. Came back, I've been, secretary, vice president, president. Basically sat out for both city committees for a time from a couple of months or so before she died and became the president. I said, okay, I think it's time to be available for that.
Anybody have any questions?
I think he's qualified.
I move to appoint Bob Lundy to the Farmers Market Committee.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay,
So I have a question, is there 1 opening on the farmer's market?
I have a question about that too.
I believe there is going to be 2 openings.
Okay, because we have Lenore,
Yeah,
who had applied but had an incomplete application, and have we heard from her?
No, I did email Bob though, and he does have the information and
Okay.
I believe.
But there are additional openings that
Yes, because I had two people leave, so I think when I updated this the last time, I had the one, but I didn't have the second one, so when I update this after tomorrow, it will still show one vacancy for moment.
Okay, thank you. I was about to ask about that. I had put in a query of whether there was another opening because there was somebody I was gonna talk to. I said, oh, the Lenore wants to be on it. Good.
I'm hoping that she still wanted to be on it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
And that there was room.
any other questions? Thank you, Bob.
I need a roll call.
I'm like, you just want to get out of that. Roll call, please.
Okay, Council President Kirk,
Yes.
Councilor Ostrander,
Yes.
Councilor Hammond,
Yes.
Councilor Hayes,
Yes.
Mayor Knopf.
Yes, okay, thank you, Bob.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Mark.
Congratulations. Okay, and then we have, 3 applicants for the planning commission, there's 1 vacancy. The first applicant, Valerie, could not be here tonight, she's traveling, but she did send us an email with her qualifications, plus we've all read the applications. She doesn't get to sit in the hot seat. Next we have Janae. And what?
I've been on that hot seat.
Don't break anything.
Sorry. For both legs. Janae Pierce question, you saw my application, I hope, and I am ready to serve on this commission. I've been in public works, I turned out after, I don't know how many years, but I turned out, and I figured that it's my volunteer duty to commit my time to the city.
Any questions?
Not on any other committees now, but.
No.
Yeah, this will be the
City committees.
city.
Yeah.
Right.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Jeanette. Thank you. And then Ron Listy, he's also in the audience.
Hi.
I come before you tonight to ask for your vote for the planning commission. Having lived here for 50 years, working in real estate for 36, and raising my daughter who attended the Cannon Beach Elementary School allows me the understanding of what Ursula Le Guin called the quaint village by the sea, which means we strive to maintain that character. I don't intend to apply for any other committees. Having served on Cannon Beach City Council, Cannon Beach and Clatsop County planning commissions in the past, gives me experience of what this position entails. I have deep love for Oregon and served on the Oregon State Parks Commission for 9 years, appointed by Governor Kulongoski in 2008 and Governor Brown in 2016. Approved each time you're approved as well by the Senate. I would appreciate your consideration and vote. Thank you.
You may have any questions to Ron? Okay, thanks. Thank you. So now with, 3 applicants, what we're going to do when we do roll call is have you give us the person you would like to be on that commission, and then we'll make a motion after we decide.
Wait, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Barb.
Okay, so when we do roll call, you're gonna say the name of the person that you would like to recommend, and then after we know who will be on the commission, then we'll do the motion.
Okay, can we discuss it at all first?
Pardon me?
Are we going to have a discussion first?
Do you have questions?
No, I just wanted to know if we're going to discuss it first.
If you would like to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would like to because I'm going to vote for Valerie McNaughton because I think she's very qualified to be on the planning commission. She's been working on design review. She has experience in her previous home in Colorado, and she applied once already And she's gone to a lot of the planning commission meetings. I've seen her there listening to everything that's gone on. But I also would like to say that I served on the planning commission with Robin Risley, and she was fantastic to serve with. I really admired her preparation for the meetings, and she's eminently qualified. So I'm hoping that she will apply. There's very likely to be an opening in the near future, and I'm hoping that in that next opening that she will be willing to put in her application again. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Well, go ahead. No,
You jumped in there.
you got it.
Yeah.
Keep reading.
Oh, perfect. So,
Okay, so, in light of, Lisa's discussion there, I do plan on, voting for Robin Risley. I believe that, she is absolutely the most qualified person for this position. She's been in the community for decades. And, she has stepped up to the plate every step of the way. And her real estate experience, definitely gives her an edge for the planning commission.
okay, Gary?
I just wondered if there's any issue, is Valerie an attorney? Is she a working attorney now, or is she retired?
No, she's retired. She's retired.
Okay.
If she was a practicing attorney, she would not be eligible because there are already at the current time, two practicing attorneys on the planning commission. But if you're retired, that prohibition does not apply.
You're replacing my face.
Because she's replacing Mike, okay.
And she listed her profession as adjunct professor, community college of Denver, so that's her acting for her profession.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, so roll call please. Yes.
All right, Counselor Alexander,
Robin Risley.
Counselor Hammond,
Robin Risley.
Counselor Hayes.
I just really appreciate everyone stepping up here. We got people with, so much experience in this town. I'll say Valerie.
Council President Kerr.
I say Valerie McNaughton.
Fair enough.
Janae.
Okay.
I would have said that if you didn't.
I try to remember what we do in event of a tie. And I don't think I've ever had a tie with council before. So.
So do
So-
we have more discussion?
So
Oh, actually, never mind, I'm sorry, this doesn't matter, it's whoever makes a, everyone has to agree on the vote, so.
So my rationale for Robin over the other two candidates, I think we have three extremely qualified candidates for this. Robin Wesley, I feel like she is more qualified than the other two candidates, but Valerie also has a pretty extensive background in similar stuff, being on city council and in another community and all of that stuff. The thing that put me over the edge towards Robin on this is that both Robin and Janae are not currently on committees, and I want to see as much fresh blood in our committees as possible. And so we have Robin Risley, like as Deanna mentioned, is eminently qualified, and she's not currently on the committees. Valerie McNaughton, she's qualified, I have full faith that she would be able to accomplish the job just as well. She is on the committee right now. She wouldn't be fresh blood in our committees. That was my thought process on that.
So.
Yeah, I appreciate Valerie's experience, just like being someone new. But it seems to me like in this process that with one vote, we would limit the voting to the two. And no, Do we want to redo the vote? Is that what we would do, or?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
okay, so right now you believe either vote for Valerie Johnson or Robin this time. Okay. Counselor Hannon,
Robin Risley.
Counselor Hayes,
Robin?
Council President Kirk,
Valerie McNaughton,
Counselor Alexander,
Robin Risley.
Mayor Now. So agree. Okay, so you have one vote, let's vote. Now I need to make a motion and second, and then we'll vote on the option.
I move to appoint Robin Risley to the planning commission beginning February 1st, 2026.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Counselor Hayes,
Yes.
Council President Kirk,
yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Hannon,
Yes.
Mayor Now.
Yes. Okay, I'd like to thank all three applicants and, Robin, get to work in February. Okay,
Other committees that still have space.
right, yeah, so remember, get the word out. Local fun. Okay, next we have, the scope of review. I'm gonna welcome Jeff Adams back.
Happy New Year.
It's not so happy for dogs.
Yeah, don't talk football.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
So, this is a scope of review determination for Stephen Gerber, Architect LLC, on behalf of Mira Cardinal Inc. for an appeal for a planning commission decision to deny an off-street parking variance request, which was case number B 2504 regarding off-street parking requirements for a limited commercial zoning application at 280 North Hemlock, tax lot 51019 BB 1602. Background, at the November 25th, 2025 public hearing, City of Cannon Beach Planning Commission rendered an oral decision to deny the off-street parking variance request of Stephen Gerber on behalf of Wincar at 280 North Hemlock. On December 9th, 2025, the Planning Commission adopted the written order and findings denying the application for failure to satisfy CPMC 1790-070A. The applicant requested a review of the Planning Commission's decision and appeal application received by the city on December 23rd, and that's within the 14-day. City Council is forced to hold a scope of review meeting, which is a non-public hearing item. The terms under which it wishes to review the matter according to 1780-040. And so the applicant requested the matter be reviewed on specific issues. The specific issues that the applicant identifies relate solely to oral statements made by the planning commissioners during their deliberations on the application. The planning commission's final decision, subject to appeal, is the written order with findings and conclusions adopted on December 9th, 2025. The applicant has not identified any issues presented in the planning commission's written decision that warrant a de novo hearing. So staff recommends that the scope of review on appeal be restricted to the record made on the decision being appealed, as there is no reason the additional testimony or other evidence could not reasonably have been presented. And you'll see in 1860, they give you the three that you must find. And that's the additional testimony, which is number 1A1, or other evidence could not reasonably have been presented at the prior hearing, or a hearing is necessary to fully and properly evaluate a significant issue relevant to the proposed development action, or 3, the request is not necessitated by improper or unreasonable conduct by the requesting party, or by failure to present evidence that was available at the time of the previous review. Any questions? No.
I have
Go ahead.
a, question about, so I'm not seeing why I'm on record, but, what they specifically requested was about deliberations. Isn't deliberations part of the record?
So,
So when
We
we
will
will
get
be
the
on there.
minutes, the deliberation, no, the deliberation is not part of those findings and part of the
Yeah.
record, right? You will get the minutes as part of that,
Mm.
but that is not considered, the written record.
Okay, so the deliberations leading to the written record after they close the hearing isn't part of the record?
Well, it's part of the record, but it's not, part of their findings. In other words,
Yeah.
it's
And then
part of the discussion, so they make their findings, and so items that are, from my understanding, items that are brought up during the kind of deliberations and everything, often, go in different directions, that then they, craft the findings from, what they believe are the pertinent, standards that apply to their decision. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why that was kind of like a technicality. Technically, it's part of the record, but it's not what was written down. It's not what is actually,
It's not the official.
the findings.
Lisa?
Jeff, it was my understanding from previous planning commissions that the record includes everything that was submitted orally as well as in writing. So
Part of the minutes, yes, the minutes will be included within the record.
yeah, so they're not asking, everything that they want will be part of the record. Anybody can go back and listen to what they said or what the remarks are. All of those will be part of the record. There'll be something people are aware of. So really, they're not asking for things that are off the record or new evidence. They're just asking for the record as it is.
Well,
I agree.
but they checked the wrong box potentially.
Yeah. And they haven't been through the process.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Well, I move that we, the appeal happens on the record.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Council President Kerr,
Yes.
Councilor Ostrander,
Yes.
Councilor Hammond,
Yes.
Councilor Hayes,
Yes.
Mayor Knopf.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, moving right along to our first discussion item. And
Okay, all right, so, at the retreat on the 18th, council discussed the possibility of having a, non-city ran public forum to help educate the community and visitors, and provide input on mitigation options with regards to the current, Cannon Beach outbreak. So we have attached several attachments with regards to how other entities have worked with element management. And we also have some CREST and ODFW have discussed that they would serve or could have would provide further information and help maybe facilitate that. And what we're looking for, I think, is kind of direction, maybe a little more scope definition on kind of what we're looking for here. One of the issues that this is a non-city meeting is if the counselors are there, you cannot participate. So that makes it a little more, I don't know, a little more dicey. So kind of, I guess if you could give us a little more framework on kind of what we're looking for or what you're looking for in helping, frame up this or what we should do the next steps. One thing, to also think about, I think, is that, Jen mentioned to me earlier today is that when we did the Don't Feed the Wildlife program, we did a lot of information flyers with regards in conjunction with the hotels, et cetera, that seemed to be very successful. So maybe that may be a first step with regards to the elk, but anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there and, open it up for discussion.
Barb?
Yes, Lisa?
Well, I kind of feel like a broken record because I think I've talked about this several times. I think that our public education program is sorely lacking. I think we need way more signage. I agree with Tim, we need flyers in every hotel, in every short-term rental, warning people that elk are wild animals and that you need to maintain a distance from them. What we have now is just insufficient. I mean, I've seen people with little babies walking up to elk. That's ridiculous, you know? And as a former attorney, I will say that the city is going to be in big trouble if someone gets hurt and we have not given adequate notice. We have to give notice to people that this is a danger. If we don't do it in a way that's highly visible for visitors and residents alike, but I don't think the residents are really the problem, then, you know, we're going to be in trouble. So I think we have to do a major public education program, including signage. The signs can look really cute and cool. So it's not like, you know, a bunch of ugly signs around the city. There is a way to do it and to do it well. And maybe one of these agencies has suggestions for signage or, you know, the adequate things to put on public information. I mean, you know, but I think that is the number one thing we have to do if we want to give notice, and we need to give notice.
So Lisa, would you suggest that that happens before we have a community forum?
I think that's just the number one thing we need to do. And I don't think I think it's so obvious that, you know, I mean, we haven't even really tried that. We have a couple, you know, there might be something on our city website, but people come down here to visit aren't looking at our city website. Most of them aren't. And I think that what I see happening on a day-to-day basis is based on not understanding. You know, I have stood on my deck and yelled at people, no, don't take your dog right up to the elk. Don't, you know, I mean, it's just, there's just nothing, there's no notice being given. I think that is number one. I think we need to invest dollars in signage and flyers and public education. And I'm not saying that it's going to solve our problem, but I'm going to say it will solve, it is a first step.
I agree, we need more public education, but I want to push back, it's equal parts residents and visitors. I don't see residents and visitors separately interacting in different ways. The residents getting too close because of complacency, that they're here, it's easy, they're habituated. And then visitors just don't realize that, like, that they're a problem. And so education and a reminder also to locals, so they're still,
It's also
even if they're right here.
not necessarily complacency on the part of locals. I mean, anyone who walks a dog.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these days you have to be very careful out there. And I was, you know, Gracie and I were chased just the other day. We walked down to West Shirley Park and start to walk back, and the elk are coming down Golden Park Road. And we got charged.
Yeah, I guess complacency is not the right word, but it's not exclusively visitors that are getting an issue with this. It's our locals, it's us.
So,
There's not an issue.
but I would agree that the education component is obvious, but the package we got was fantastic. There were some great ideas in here. And, I mean, I don't know, it was 100-some pages, so I haven't necessarily digested every bit of it, but I highlighted a lot of things.
I learned a lot.
Yes,
Yeah, about birth control.
yes.
It's expensive.
And it's not recommended. I think there are other things we can do, but I kind of question the whole community forum idea. But I think it's something that, maybe if we have time to put it on the agenda and make it known that we can have that discussion, maybe over a couple of meetings. And then we can make some decisions on moving forward with some of the things. I think what Lisa's talking about is obvious, it's the number one thing. But I think maybe there's some other, there's some other things that were listed in here that we could look at. And some of it, you know, we're not like a park. We're not like a community that has lots of open space. So we're limited in some of the options that we can do. But I think there are probably a handful of things that we could look at. I mean, one of the other things was not encouraging them into town by planting things that they love. And so I think there's, like I said, there's probably a half dozen things that I think realistically are things that we could consider. And I think we could narrow in on those things within a couple of meetings and give people a chance to weigh in.
Right.
I mean, we're not gonna open up, you know, we're not gonna open up removal, within the city limits, or calling.
There was substantial other options within there.
Yeah.
There was, Vanessa Blackstone, the Wyoming ecologist, was tasked with developing a health behavior modification plan, so that doesn't include removal, that includes modification of health behavior in some fashion, so I think if we could reach out to her as well, since she was tasked, she was the ecologist that was tasked with that, see if she can elaborate on what behavior modification plans she assembled for the Clatsop Plains portion of Clatsop County.
Yeah, I mean, their behavior has gotten more aggressive over the last few years, where they've just become so comfortable with people, or they've actually learned that they can rule. It used to be that you could walk towards elk and they would always walk away.
Yeah.
They would always just keep moving away, and it's just not the case anymore.
Well, they're reclaiming their territory, right? And that's kind of how I look at it, is they're attempting to reclaim. I'd like to circle back to what Lisa said. I absolutely agree with you, 1000%. And I think, but what does that look like? And I think it looks like, putting together packets. There is a lot of information that have flyers and things. Send packets, find out how many hotel rooms are in each hotel, send them to STR, you know, the short-term rental or vacation rental companies. And send a packet with everything. Please put these in, you know, put this nice poster in your lobby somewhere. Put each one of these signs in each room. And that's how the city could put that foot out first. Can TLT only pay for that?
I would think so.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
And are you good with that, Lisa? I mean, does that sound like?
That's a great idea to have the TLC pay for it. I like that a lot. And, you know, I just want to counter one thing. I do understand that locals have had confrontations with elk too, but I just want to say that there's a whole group of people who love having the elk in town. So I just want to keep that in mind. I'm not saying that, you know, that we should have herds roaming into everybody's yard, but I am saying that there is a whole group of people who have a constantly moving text page that goes out to a group of people saying, oh, I just saw the elk. It's so wonderful. Oh, I just saw, you know, and so there are a lot of people who love sharing the space with elk. I'm concerned about someone getting hurt because of ignorance. That's what concerns me. That's my big.
I 100% agree with that. I love having the elk in town. So you go down to Arch Cape though, and you open up your car door and they take off running. They're still there. They're still in the community of Arch Cape. But you close the door or something, they're spooked of people, so they don't hang out. You walk towards them, they take off running. That's not the case here. They're behaving differently in Cape Beach than they are in Arch Cape. So I don't think they need to go away, but they need to behavior modification. They need to be afraid of people and not hang out with people.
Right. The people have to be willing to make a sacrifice and maybe not planting things that you want in your garden, but that are very attractive to elk. I mean, I'm already reworking my whole garden plan, you know, because I realize that what I have is candy. elk candy, in my yard.
You know,
And
I think at the last meeting, I said something too about, how our yard was planted, but now it's gotten to where they're just eating all of the new growth. So they aren't going for the flowering things, but they're going just for the new growth. And we lost several shrubs just the other day. Part of it from trampling, part of it from eating. What also, if we put something, just a reminder, in a utility bill, can't feed the animals, can't feed the wildlife. And remember, these are just a reminder, sometimes just a reminder and a couple of things will make some people stop and take pause,
Do you think there's an issue though with residents feeding the elk?
Well,
I've seen throw apples towards them.
Pardon me?
I've seen a resident giving them apples, throwing
Really?
apples out into the road for them to gather. So yeah.
So something else that is recommended in all these documents is establishing a minimum safe distance, by ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, and that could be put out, but I just think a reminder, something we become complacent. And, oh, the elk are out around my house, I can't go anywhere, and so we just let we live with that, and they don't know.
Like I said, there seems like there are probably a half dozen actions we could take, including the things that we've talked about. Deanna mentioned in another meeting. And one of the items is use attractants to attract elk to select areas. And, is it possible we can create habitat for them? The reserve areas where they're not coming into town so much. I don't know what that looks like, and that would take an expert to tell us if that's really something that's logical, but I think we should sit down and identify some of these areas that we think are actually suitable for our community, and then maybe bring in some experts to guide us further.
And do it in a public meeting format.
And just a select, right, experts, right?
Yeah.
Especially the one that.
Yeah, I don't want any big long presentations. I want them to look at our list and tell us, what they think.
Start with the information campaign. Who's going to do that? Who's taking the ball on that?
So what I'm hearing, I think we'd have a kind of a two-pronged approach. First, we would look at the education/public information campaign. It would take us a little time. We don't have like a communications person on staff, so I think we'd have to find somebody that would help us design something like that. So it would take a little time, I think, to do that. We would simultaneously reach out to Vanessa Flagstone, right, to kind of figure out the behavior stuff, so we get that information to help bring that back here. And then that would help us formulate at least the next steps, I think. And then we would bring that back to council and but we would focus first really on the driver would be finding somebody to help us develop the public information campaign, that delivery mechanism, etc. That would be what my recommendation would be.
Would you do that, Tim? Would you?
Yeah, I will take the lead, but I will find somebody that will help us actually do that.
Okay, good.
Would it be valuable to reach out to the chamber to see if they've got?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
To build that out.
Yeah, I'm sure they have people or have contacts with people.
Okay.
The only problem that I have with reaching out to the chamber is, lack of follow through. We still don't have signs at the entrance of our city. They were given the money to do it. It never happened.
I would look, I guess I would be just looking for more like names of the contractors
That you can hire.
that I could
the
hire,
city can
right?
hire.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I would.
I think Eric's idea about, the ordinance about proximity to elk, it's just so,
Maybe something to stand on this.
See, I think that with the Vanessa, the behavior change, or that, I think that will give us some information on what those distances, et cetera, should be, so I think that's where we'll.
Yeah.
we'll get-
There was all sorts of numbers.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Right.
I was looking at what is different places consider this minimum stage distances, so whatever. So it'd be hard to.
That also, that just puts some teeth in it.
Yes.
That adds to the public education opportunity to say, hey, you're close enough to enough to get a $500 fine.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's,
It does do you help people be aware.
Yeah, I think we have to do behavior modification.
Yeah.
I wonder what the time frame on a plan like that is, like if it's like a 5 to 10 year plan, I mean, clearly it's gonna take time, right? Not to maybe put it in place, but we can't just tell, well, okay, here's your plan. No.
Mhm.
Those gonna be some nice posters.
I mean, what we looked at was a lot of plans with a lot of, measurables. In it, you know, a lot of these plans have measurables in it. I don't know that we need to go that far. But it just seems like there's some obvious steps for us to take that, hopefully make it better.
And I think we need to find find an expert on the proper landscape for our yards. I don't know who that would be.
And that would be something else, and Vanessa might know,
Yep.
you know, somebody at one of the consultants
Right.
or even
Mhm.
any of them.
And I'm not sure we wanna change our fencing. Regulations.
Fence around.
One of the recommendations was fencing them out. But, there might be landscaping things that do discourage them, and so I think that's good conversation to have.
hard to get high enough.
But yeah, we can't cancel that.
No.
We'd hurt their feelings.
So I think we have our marching orders, so we will get started and then we'll keep the council apprised.
Good, okay. Anything else? I'm kind of hoping to be in the park tonight, but too dark.
Yeah, come on in, we'd like to talk to you guys.
One part of it.
Yeah, that's. One city council meeting and they'll be out of town. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the e-bike rental regulations.
Okay, the November 13th work session, council reviewed the city's e-bike rental regulations. Consensus was to allow the rental of class 1 and 2 e-bikes. E-bikes are not defined by statute. Therefore, we are using the general definition of an e-bike rather than certain classes, and we're using a miles per hour as a cap instead of class distinction. If anyone tries to rent out an e-bike that's capable of going more than 20 miles an hour, that would be a code violation regardless of its class. So you'll see in the actual attachment, there's 2 sections that define the e-bike. And then on page that's 10.12, the prohibition does not, the prohibition of the rental. So those are the 2 changes or additions in the in this ordinance.
So I reached out to Ian, who suggested this, and I asked him like, do you see any pitfalls in terms of being able to rent it? He had no issues at all. He had a family emergency, might be on Zoom. He had a family emergency that he's building us from. Yeah, he said, I know he couldn't make it for me, so, but, I thought did he send no? And,
Jane just asked about it, and he
Oh.
asked you, and I just said, you don't have to, we were just keeping you informed.
oh,
But he didn't have any.
yeah, when I talked to him, he didn't have any qualms with what was here. I didn't have any qualms with what was added. I had 2 questions though that were not part of it, that had rose concerns with me. The prohibition prohibition on renting emerging mobility devices. So things like David's chair, the wheelchair, it seems to me that that would be prohibited in our current language. It's not e-bike related, but since we are having this open, I was concerned about that. It's a company, they come and, they usually do it for free, but I don't know if they ever charge anybody for that. It's an electric wheelchair, right, to be able to get people out of the beach. And I don't know, it's the way renting is defined, I wasn't sure if that's prohibited. I was concerned about that in one way.
The big chair doesn't charge.
Yeah, but other wheelchair providers that provide off-road wheelchairs. I had that concern, I don't know if that's a valid concern. Of it being prohibited and not being, then those people would bring off-road wheelchairs, feel all the beach, if that would actually be prohibited. My first read through of it made it sound like it is, I was kind of concerned.
Only on the rent.
The rent.
Yeah,
See that. Really wanted to stretch this, you could say that it would apply, but. Does say, rental or hire, or, you know, so does that mean if someone wants to rent wheelchairs that they're not allowed?
As I said, yeah, I will provide you.
Yeah, cause I'm all for, I don't wanna see like all the scooters and there's all the one wheels, all that stuff, just suddenly get rented and all that thing that doesn't fit in the can of beef, but I feel like wheelchairs, regular, seems to fit in, and I wasn't sure if having this open that discussion about that was worth opening that discussion, or because we've never had that issue before, just continuing on what you're doing.
Well, we can always check for.
We have a couple. Questions.
Sure.
Or
Lisa.
Oh, okay. The first one is, so the speed limit on the beach, I believe, is 10 miles per hour, right? Isn't that the maximum? On the beach? Pardon?
Governed by the state. I don't
Right.
know.
My concern is that someone will be going down the beach 20 miles an hour, which would, for me, I would be scared to death if someone came at me at 20 miles an hour down on an e-bike. Actually, so I think that before, and if we're allowing them for 20 miles an hour and under, then we have to be really clear and find out what the speed limit is for the beach and how those two things intersect. Because if a person rents one here in town, they're going to think that that applies to the beach too. So I think we have to make sure that 20 mile an hour speed limit does not apply on the beach. I think that's too fast for the beach. That's number one. And number two is, what bothers me is the way this is written. It says no financial responsibility. So what that sounds like is if someone runs into you at 20 miles per hour on an e-bike, they don't have to have proof of financial responsibility. And it says proof, but it bothers me that it sounds almost like there's no financial responsibility.
Well, that's the technical term for insurance, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the legal terminology for having insurance.
Right, it is. But I'm just thinking that 20 miles per hour to me seems fast for a public thoroughfare, or in this example, it would be on our street, since we don't have bike lanes. It would be if you were walking, let's say, on the S curves in the shoulder, and someone came whizzing along at 20 miles an hour. I don't
that
What?
You can get 20 miles an hour on a bicycle that you pedal. So, I've seen people come flying off that hill doing 35 miles an hour, and you zoom past me when I'm doing 25. So,
well,
I'm not disagreeing with you, Lisa, because I actually have, I am a proponent for e-bikes, but and the chief, police chief may agree with me here. I think, or us, this could be allowing the rental of e-bikes to someone who has no experience riding one is going to cause problems. It's gonna cause problems for the bicycle rental company, it's going to cause traffic problems, it's going to, our emergency services are going to go up. I mean, I ride my bike quite frequently, I guess, enough. And, I've taken some pretty good spills on that thing. Fortunately, only one person's on. But I am concerned about the S curves and, people and just not knowing what they're doing, not knowing how to operate this equipment, and they're heavy. So.
And Deanna, to follow up on that, when you talk about people riding their bikes at 35 miles an hour, usually those are people who know how to ride a bike. We're good bike riders.
They're still breaking the law.
No, I know they are, but I'm just saying the people who you're talking about who might be renting an e-bike who don't know how to operate it properly aren't those same people who are going fast on a regular bike. You know, you have to.
And that's very true. I have a dear friend of mine, God rest his soul now, but avid bike rider, and he was flying downhill. Somebody was getting out of their car. I mean, getting out of their car. And he was in the hospital for 6 months recovering from his injuries. So even the best bicycle rider can have an accident. No, so anyway, I just don't know that I am a proponent of being able to allow renting e-bikes in town.
So I see the safety from probably the exact opposite direction, but for the same exact place, so the S-curves. So I've come across a number of just regular pedal bike riders that are not able to keep up, even close to keep up with the speed of traffic going through the S-curves. The S-curves aren't wide enough to have a full bike lane, so they're in the lane of traffic, so you come around the corner and you've got that, as opposed to an e-bike rider who is relatively able to keep up with traffic through the S-curve, because you don't suddenly come up upon them, so you have a higher safety threshold for vehicles that are in the lane of traffic traveling at the speed of traffic, as opposed to basically a standstill because they can't get up the hill. And then the other comment that I had is I would be concerned about deviating, I don't know how the attorney feel, but I would be concerned about deviating from the state definition of e-bike too far. I feel like it's just easier to stand behind the state definition of e-bike, which is what has been added to the definition. That's from direct copy and pasted directly from the LRS.
And the speed limit on the beach was 10 to 15 miles an hour, Lisa.
Oh, you don't know, okay.
This is just a rental, right? So people can still use their own e-bikes.
Yeah, this is just rental,
It's just
yeah.
a rental.
Oh, because that's Skip's main mode of transportation. Why drive a car when you only have to go a mile?
Yeah.
I think everything we can do to get people out of vehicles and onto pedestrian bikes, get their vehicles parked somewhere. More we can do for that, the better.
I feel that way. I agree with you as far as what I would call a real bike, but I don't agree with you as far as an e-bike. An e-bike, you don't have to have a license to operate it. You don't have to have you don't have to be proficient at using it. It requires a lot less energy to operate one. That's why people like them. You know, it's motorized. It's a form of motorized transportation. So I would want to either see the speed limit lowered or not do it.
What kind of an enforcement problem is that? Chief, you're here.
Well, how do we,
Well, perhaps.
differentiate between rental bikes and personal bikes?
Well, I think the big
Whether or
thing
not-
is just not allowing rentals, and then you alleviate that whole category. And then the people that have them have brought them here on their own.
And there's a lot of those.
There are.
It's true. A lot of those vehicles.
And then it's. Then you know.
Yeah, we're not talking about different speed limits for rentals versus owned bikes, I don't think. But yeah, concerns about,
You know, just with, making sure that people, whether or not they're renting a pedal bike or a, system bike, if they're in the lane of traffic, can keep up with the speed of traffic. They have that right to do it, if not, they have to get over the shoulder and, allow vehicles to go by them. Making sure that they're riding safely, that they got their helmets on, that's a big thing. I've seen numerous people, especially adults, who don't wear their helmets. And, we end up, going on with calls where there's some, so. I think it's just, coming down to educating people, having talked with people, and my officers go out and talk with folks all summer long when we have a lot of people here riding their bikes. On the beach or throughout town, to make sure that they're doing so safely.
But what do you, Chief, do you know what the speed limit is on the beach?
The speed limit, max is 25 miles an hour.
25 on the beach,
Yeah.
under state
And,
law?
that's by the state. So.
Is that
usually-
for a car, a vehicle?
And, you would have a motorized bike, even though it's pedal assisted, be a motorized bike, you cannot do over 25 miles an hour.
Well, and they can't have one that goes that fast if they don't have a license, correct?
No, you can have a class B bike, which goes up to 28 miles an hour without having a license. Anything that goes over 28 miles an hour is considered a motorized vehicle, and then they would have to have some sort of license, kind of considered like motorcycle, electric motorcycle.
Well, I thought it was 19. I thought the max was 20 without a driver's license, so I learned something, thank you.
well, we did have some conversation with Ian about, whether a rental place would even want their bikes on the beach. And, you know, he was saying that most of them would not, because that would pretty much, mean they'd be replaced often. But I'm kind of with Lisa where, not sure how much we want to encourage, 20 miles an hour, 25 miles per hour on the beach when people are enjoying it, when walking, and dogs, and kids, and, well, I mean, I do have that concern, or I share that concern, or I understand that concern. And do we think that whatever we do should actually limit e-bike rentals from being on the beach? With that concern?
Like that, I'd be happy with that, Gary.
So they would rent a bike and they would sign the rental agreement that they would not go on the beach. I don't know what that is.
According to a lot of them regulate
The state,
regulate what a business in town has on their waivers.
right? But that would be a good question for our attorney.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you wouldn't want to do anyways, you probably would already have it on this. Why really wait for stuff? I can't imagine anyone's in very.
But you do have tons of kids on the beach and dogs off leash. And you're really creating a dangerous situation if you have rental e-bikes. I think they'd be popular, you know, on the beach. And if they're permitted, and I think you'd be creating a dangerous situation, and one that would make it a lot less fun for those walking, especially with kids or pets.
So this is just, we're just discussing it, so what kinds of questions do you have for Jody? Besides the waiver. For going on the beach.
Because we understand that,
Needs.
David, share.
Share.
No, but one more other, very good one, so it's this.
Speed limit.
Well, I think that the problem with adjusting the speed limit is that manufacturers make them to be within certain pockets of speed, and so it's you're not gonna find an e-bike, you may, but I doubt you would find an e-bike that has a maximum speed of maximum pedal speed 10 hour. They make them to standardize to be to state codes around the country have in this point, so it's a one.
But there's some computers that you can actually set if you don't want it to go that fast.
That's probably
It
it,
is,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got the correct on that, so,
A governing device, potential.
yeah.
The other question I had was, potentially some cleanup language in 10-12-0-0 bicycle operating rules. It looks like A and E conflict with each other. E says that you are not permitted to park a bicycle on a sidewalk except in a city approved bike rack. Like, I said that straight, but then A says, you're not allowed, you can't park there, but if one's not available, you can. So,
Yeah.
it seems like some cleanup language that maybe get rid of E. Yeah, I noticed that, I was like, so, can.
In our discussion of transportation system, and we talked about increasing,
Yes.
yeah.
More parking.
Yeah. Okay, any other concerns? Or modifying? Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so we'll send this to Jody, we're gonna then come back to the next session with her input.
Okay. Okay, next we have the monthly status report. Anybody have any questions on that? Lisa? Any
About,
questions?
about the monthly status report?
Yes.
No,
Monthly status report.
I,
No,
I'm, oh, I'm having trouble hearing you. Say it again.
Do you have any questions?
About the monthly status report?
Yes.
No.
Lisa.
Will we have a, request for qualification draft for Canada Beach Elementary project, at the work session?
On the 13th.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
thank you.
Other questions? On the monthly status report. No?
Oh, actually, you know what I might like to see, and maybe I'm reaching,
We'll let you know.
yeah, I know. I always ask. It's too much.
Much.
On the city hall and the police station, do these numbers include, I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Funds that were spent prior to the, construction costs?
Prior to, yeah, so these include all funds that have already been spent. These would be like the soft costs and everything would already be in here.
From before?
Yeah. So before we sold the loans, yeah, all
The
that,
money,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, all that.
I thought that was the answer, but,
Mhm, yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions on? Monthly status? Okay, I have nothing to report on the mayor communications. Anybody have any council communications?
I don't know.
Well-
Probably, and you're good of the order, but, yes, Lisa, I'm wondering about, coffee with the counselors.
Let's do them.
Okay, we'll do it under good of the order.
Yeah. Okay,
So I don't know if this is counselor communications, but I've had a lot of communication about the food pantry.
I think we all did.
Yeah, and, I think it's very important that we recognize the people that came here, tonight to speak. I know that there's a lot more people out there, that were volunteers, everything that were, I mean, our whole community got turned upside down because that is the hub. And this is one saying that if anything can bring this community together, back together again, is that food pantry. And so I think that there were a lot of missteps made. And I have had people have kind words and a lot of not so kind words about the way that this was handled. So anyway, I think but thank you, Tina, and everybody that volunteers for you, for all the work that you do for our community. And Bart, because I know you were integral in putting this together. It just really makes me sad that so many people felt like they were gonna be displaced.
It makes me sad too, but all these fear and rumors swirling. It's like, where's all the panic? It's, who is creating all the panic?
The city manager created the panic.
No.
Yes, he did. And
Emails that are misleading, that are going out, they're creating a panic, and so I don't know, I appreciated your comments, but it's like, if you wanna know what's going on, talk to us. You know, this whole swirling, angry, like, everything on the city manager, I think is.
Gary, we didn't know what was going on either. City council, so talking to us wouldn't have been much good.
Tuesday when I got.
Know what was who's talking while I'm talking? We didn't know what was happening, and maybe I'm not. Am I?
Lisa, please.
We can hear you, son.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
Lisa.
We didn't know what was happening either, so speaking to us wouldn't have done much good. There were rumors flying around. I know that I responded to emails. I responded to a city email inadvertently because the message that was sent to me was sent to the whole council, and I just pressed reply because usually they're parsed out so we can't reply to the whole council. But anyway, I agree. I think I don't know why it happened or how it happened. I just know that the result was pretty awful and very disturbing for so many people in the community. And I think, Deanna, you're preaching to the choir as far as the council is concerned. All of us, I think, are so much in favor of seeing the food bank, be a healthy, viable organization for this city. So
Nobody doesn't need that.
I don't think that I portrayed that. I think that it was very important to tell everybody, just thank you for treading, the water that you've been treading.
Yeah, it was a mess. I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know how. I said, I don't know how it happened. I don't know whose fault it was. I don't care whose fault it was. I just think that something like that should never happen again.
Right. And we're taking steps so that's not gonna happen again.
I think some people like spreading fear and rumors.
I just can't believe how fast it happened. And you think, dark night and I mean, the next morning, wow, it just was.
Well, when people feel like they're gonna get displaced and not.
I'm not saying that, no, the reaction, fine, I just wish we've got to stop the misinformation.
Yeah.
And I think this really, that was one of my New Year's resolutions, and it really.
Well, and I agree, and I think I agree with stopping misinformation, and I spoke nothing but the truth at this table this evening. And we know where the information came from, and it's unfortunate that happened. And I agree with you that it shouldn't happen again, but I did not speak any mistruths, and I'm not trying to put fear in anyone. Janae called me, bless her heart. I mean, we take a lot of things to the food pantry, and I, like Lisa, was just like, what are you talking about? No idea. We were blindsided with that. So thank you, Judith, for calling. But anyway.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay, so we are on good of the order now.
Okay, I have something.
Oh, okay, Lisa.
Big surprise. Okay. I'm actually going to read because I just think I can be much more efficient if I read what I've written. So I'd like to raise an issue and make council aware of something that I feel very strongly and even passionately about. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know others in the community and on council do as well. I do not want to step on any toes or usurp my role as a city councillor, but I believe this is an issue in which the council needs to take a role. The issue is acquisition of our forested watershed or a source water protection plan. There was an article recently online about Rockaway Beach's work on acquiring their forested watershed. Some of the same cast of characters were involved in their acquisition as have been in the preliminary stages here. I knew that Karen Labonte had done a ton of work toward watershed acquisition, so I had a conversation with her to find out where we were in the process. She had been in conversations with Naveen, who owns/operates the forested area we wish to acquire. They have been great to work with, according to her, but there have been a couple tricky negotiation issues or sticking points. So I reached out to Rockaway's mayor, Charles McNeely, to see how they dealt with some of the issues and some of these sticking points. And the way they did is they hired Daniel Ware from Sustainable Northwest to be the project manager for the acquisition. And they couldn't be more pleased with his work. He's also worked with a lot of other coastal communities on acquisition of watershed. And it turns out this is exactly who Karen hoped would play an important role in our acquisition, was Daniel Ware from Sustainable Northwest. You can look him up online. It's interesting to read about him and the role he's played and the nonprofit Sustainable Northwest that he works for. Several members of the Parks Committee are aware of the benefits of having him on board as well, as far as I'm told. The other thing Mayor McNally said was public participation is key. Thus, I think we need to have another meeting. I mean, I hate to add another burden to us, but it's easy to put off because we have housing and parking and other issues that are very important before us. But time is of the essence in this case. We're not doing Naveen a favor by buying our watershed. They are doing us a favor by agreeing not to sell to anybody else when I'm told they have plenty of other people who'd like to buy it. So I realize Chris is new and has a huge load to manage. That is why I suggest we hire Daniel Ware of Sustainable Northwest to manage the acquisition, or at least more than just open negotiations, to take a real step forward. I think that maybe Barb can reach out to Mayor McNally for more details or information about how they're funding their acquisition. I'm told there is funding available for these kinds of projects. It's really important, in my opinion, to acquire a viable source water protection plan. It is one of the most important things we can do for our residents and visitors alike. We have invested millions of dollars in our water system so far, and to sort of blow it at this point by not acquiring the watershed would be almost, to me, would be negligence. It also is in our master plan to acquire that watershed, so we need to move forward on it. But I think that if we sit around and wait for somebody else to do it, and the council doesn't start giving direction about how to move forward with this, it's not going to happen, or it'll founder, or it'll be too late to get it by the time there's any action taken. So I really think that the council should take a stronger role in directing our city attorney and our city manager to move forward with this. I think that's the only way it's going to happen. Okay.
So I think it needs to be an agenda item very soon meeting, not January 13th, but because that's really getting full. Okay, so it'll be on a February agenda.
Okay, great. And if you probably can get you can get the mayor's phone number, but if you needed it,
I know the mayor. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's really, he was very passionate about that project as well.
His family come to Cannon Beach every 4th of July because of our fireworks ordinance with their
Oh,
dogs.
really? Oh, that's great.
He's a good guy.
A similar vein. Is there anything else to say about, the Howland property appraisal at this point?
At this point, no, I'll just give you a little history. So we went back out, for the second appraisal, based on the council's direction. The firm was called Powell Vance. Happenstance that, I and Mark Holland actually reached out to the same firm, that's who we went with. It came back at the end of December. I emailed it out to you yesterday, it came in at 3.125. And then I emailed it to the Hollands yesterday as well, asked them how they would like to proceed, and I have not heard back.
Okay. I guess. That was the specific answer to my question.
Wait a minute. Did you say, Tim, you said it came back at what? 3 point what?
3.125 million.
Was the
So the second appraisal came back.
So it's better, but.
It was better.
What they were.
Yes, it was better than, it was higher than the 2.2 million. From Matthew Larrabee, but it was significantly less still than the appraisals they had received in 2009 and 2017.
Wow.
My next one is food pantry. So, is this? It sounds like there is a need to address that facility, I mean.
Is that on next week's agenda?
That is on next week's agenda.
That's what I'm understanding.
That is correct.
Then we can talk about it then.
Yeah.
Coffee with counselors. We're scheduled for tomorrow, Lisa?
No.
Yeah. No, a week from tomorrow.
14, okay. I didn't have it switched on my calendar, so everyone else can get that fixed on their calendar now for, next Wednesday, the 14th.
Anything else, Kurt?
No,
Yeah? Nope. Anything? Kurt?
Nope.
Any parting words? Tim?
I got nothing.
Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.